We're now ready to explore a number of psychological principles and the social influence techniques they drive. We're going to start with the consistency principle. The consistency principle goes like this. People are most comfortable when their speech and behaviors are consistent with their prior speech and behavior. In other words, consistent over time with things like prior commitments, styles, etc. Make sense? The following 3 persuasion techniques rely on this principle. Bob Cialdini did a yard sign study in which people in a neighborhood were asked to post a large, ugly sign in their yards, which promoted safe driving. Not surprisingly, only a small percentage of the residents agreed. However, when those who had first agreed to post a small, more tasteful sign promoting the same concept were approached with this request, most of them by far agreed. Marketers use this foot in the door technique by asking a small, easy to comply request, thus metaphorically getting their foot in the door before asking for a larger one. For example, marketers know that once they get their foot in the door by getting you to agree to that free 30-day trial membership, you are more likely to comply to the larger request of buying their year-long expensive membership. The lowball technique involves getting an initial commitment, then changing the deal. Once people commit to a deal, they tend to stick with it, even when it is no longer as attractive. Bob Cialdini tested this with his Saturday AM study. He tested this by asking students to participate in an experiment that would not interfere with their classes or their evenings because it was on a Saturday. Many agreed because the experiment sounded fun. Only after they agreed did they find out that they had to show up at 7 a.m. on that Saturday, but more than half of them still showed up. Compare this to students who were originally given all the details, in other words, asked to participate in the study at 7 a.m. on Saturday, to which only a quarter of those who agreed actually showed up. Car salespersons are notorious for using this lowball technique. After the consumer test drives the car and agrees to buy it and fills out half a dozen forms, they suddenly find out that the salesperson made a mistake and the car is a bit more, or the boss can only approve the deal at a slightly higher figure, or an attractive option or options that were included in the test drive floor model are not included in the price. The third one, the bait and switch technique, involves offering a low-priced product or service to lure consumers to the retail outlet, only to find out that it's not available, and they are encouraged instead to buy a more expensive substitute product. Bait and switch is considered fraud if the supplier is not capable of actually selling the advertised product. However, many consumers don't know about this obligation on the part of retailers or are not comfortable aggressively pursuing it. Also, many retailers use the ads to lure clients in just to get the chance to aggressively push a more expensive product. As long as the advertised deal is available, of course, no fraud can be claimed.